Happy National S'mores Day, everyone, and also happy World Lion Day as well. A lovely fact for you on this lovely 10th of August on a lovely sunny afternoon in Great Britain, albeit we are in Canada tonight, though, at the legendary Gilles Villeneuve circuit for round number 8 of the championship, is it? It is round number 8 of the championship, indeed it is. As Danica Patrick said, it is quite a simple circuit, which I kind of understand that, as it certainly looks like a simple circuit on the track map, but of course you've got to tame those chicanes, haven't you? Which is going to be one of the more difficult aspects of this circuit. Anyway, before we get on to the venue we're at tonight, let's quickly go through the drivers in the constructors championship. And after the first two rounds, I must say that I was not expecting to see the championship look like this. It's incredible, isn't it? What an incredible season Immortal's having so far, and he has a 47-point advantage over the triple world champion Sam Swift Ninja. Is that the biggest deficit that Sam Swift Ninja's had in his full-time career in ALR? I think it is, to be honest. So it's going to, let's see what the triple world champion can do about that. MHD is in third position. A great season for MHD then. I've got to say that this season has been very much turned on its head then in terms of the form book for the last couple of seasons. MHD in third position on 84 points. 62 points for our first time winner of Brabant then, and of course I very confidently predicted that Brabant is going to be a first time winner this season, and ironically I always miss first time winners, don't I, as I always seems to be absence without a leave. Pease in the fifth position. Of course he's a five-time Grand Prix winner. Pease is in the second Alpine, 45 points, 44 points for Flippy. Menace on 44 points as well, very close in sixth and seventh position. Van Votten on 34 points, and then 22 points for Young Lights, and 18 for Boxtel, 16 for Troy. Equals on 8, 4 for Nameless, and Chazza on 2, 1 for Morris, 1 for Cam. We still got 4 drivers yet to score so far in this championship, which is Legends, Delano, Knowlesy, and Mumford. I'm sure that that's the first time this season, or first time ever in ALR Gold, that we've got to the 8th round of the season, or the 7th round of the season that has been done, and 4 drivers have yet to score in terms of full-time drivers. Anyway, Constructors Championship, the Racing Bull team are currently leading the way then with Alpine in second position on 129 points then, 13 points up versus 2 teams, and Kick Sauber are a massive 34 points away from Alpine, and the Team Alpine are the team to beat this season, even though Racing Bulls are the leader. Haas are in 4th position at 63 points, 46 points for the McLaren. Ferrari on 44, 42 for Racing Bulls. No, Red Bull, I say Mercedes on 37, 16 for Williams, and 5 for Aston Martin. Technically, this could be classed as our home circuit, maybe. Maybe I suppose, of course, with the owner Lawrence Stroll, of course, and then in the joint constructors, while McLaren have a very slender lead in the joint constructors. Well, the gap is 1 point between the McLaren and the Alpine team. That can be switched tonight then, and then very slender as well is the gap between second and third. 32 points separates Alpine and the Williams team. Racing Bull 30 points back in on 261 points. Aston Martin on 259 then, much better than what they're doing in gold. Kick Sauber in 6th position, with Ferrari in 7th on 197. 146 points for Racing, for Red Bull, I say. Haas on 131, and Mercedes are yet to get into the triple figures so far, which might be a bit alarming then from the team from Brackley then, which is a bit unfortunate. As of course this is round 8 of the World Championship. Then of course here in Gilles Villeneuve, as I said in the build-up, then it is very much about how it is to tame these chicanes. It's going to be a penalty fest here tonight in circuit Gilles Villeneuve, of course. I think ALR has basically raced on this circuit ever since we had our inception, haven't we? No, we haven't actually. We missed the season. We missed back season 10, didn't we? But this is the 12th run-in of the Canadian Grand Prix. Lucas Percy, who won here last season, is back on in the paddock as well this afternoon. And of course, as a reserve driver, then looking good indeed. That as we are now. As we are now back then in Montreal, and of course, lovely sunshine out there at the moment. Beautiful stuff indeed. And then you can see 20 drivers on the grid, which is always cool to see. Then I've got an alert for some reason, but let's just ignore that alert for now because I don't really care. So in terms of milestones, I don't think Edward's got a milestone. But Geordie Boxtown will make his 99th Grand Prix start tonight. Just one more, and he'll be on 100. Same for Chazza, also making his 99th Grand Prix start as well. Good stuff indeed. And Immortal making his 99th Grand Prix start. Goodness gracious me, got a lot of accolades out there tonight. Fantastic stuff indeed. Yes, qualifying has begun. If you haven't noticed, that Cam is out on circuit. Technically a home circuit. Well, if you get the cut of my jib, then of course Lawrence Stroll. Of course, the Strolls are from Canada. Of course, so they did save the Alien Force India team back in 2018 or 2019. I think it was 2018 actually, wasn't it? So it's really cool to see. And of course, Aston Martin have gone from strength to strength. Well, in 2023, anyway, then they big lock up there for Cam. Then, of course, only 1 point on the board so far for Cam. So Cam needs to find some more speed, doesn't he, in this Aston Martin then. DRS and 3 DRS zones on this circuit then, so hopefully abundance of overtaking. I'm also expecting a bit of rain on the horizon over the next few days here in Canada. Coming out of the Wall of Champions, there it is. I am expecting a couple of drivers to also clout that. Of course, it was named the Wall of Champions after the 98 Grand Prix race, wasn't it? Where I think it was Jacques Villeneuve, Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher with the biggest casualty, and there was someone else who went in the wall as well that day as well. I can't remember who it was now. But yes, three champions are on that grid, then crashing into the Wall of Champions. I think Mick Hackett was the only champion on the grid that didn't actually clash into the Wall of Champions that day. Jensen Button, of course, was in that wall in 2005 as well, unfortunately. Then. So yes, a lot of big names been. Well, Vettel, I think, was in that wall, but only in practice in 2011 for the Red Bull team. Just watching Camden, who is tackling at the Montreal circuit. I would say this is probably one of the best. I think it's probably quite a loved circuit amongst the drivers, isn't it, here in Canada? In terms of the stats for the past couple of years here in Canada, as I said, Percy won last year and the year before. Percy been pretty dominating in the last 2 years around here. Menace Max getting a pole position there in the last qualified session around here. Ekwell's getting his one and only Grand Prix win back in season 9. German, former world champion of ALR racing then. Boxtel, also winner in season 7, season 6 was Emerson, season 5 was Emerson, season 4 was Emerson, who has the most Grand Prix wins around here. Fisher won it in season 3. Emerson, of course, a 4-time winner around here. So Percy could only go to second all-time winners around here, because Emerson's won this 4 times, which is shocking stuff indeed, isn't it? Really, for the former world champions. Right, Kaz Van Von is currently fastest at the moment on the medium tires, and so that is not looking too bad there for Kaz, isn't there? That's a pretty decent start to the weekend. Then both Aston Martins are second and third about them, but they're both the slowest runners on the circuit run. Here's Menace with I think 10 pole positions to his name now. Menace has unfortunately for Menace, started to become a Charles Leclerc. I know he drives for Ferrari in terms of Grand Prix, ALR Grand Prix races as well. 10 pole positions for Menace now, but only 1 Grand Prix win against his name, against the accolades there for Menace. So, and I feel this he's probably come into Grand Prix racing at such a difficult time with the domination, of course, of Samsung Ninja there. Of course, Menace made his debut back in season 7 of the United States Grand Prix, but then, of course, came into racing as a full-time driver around season 10. Menace Max on an 088 there to be the fastest driver at the moment. Here is the championship leader. Here is Immortal, and my goodness gracious me, Immortal with the most pole positions in ALR Top Championship of the our top championship, and goes second fastest about there, a whisker behind Menace, but of course they're all just getting their banker laps in, I am sure of it. Look at that lovely chrome McLaren there that Flippy's got up there. I was disappointed I didn't see that chrome McLaren last week in Spain then. Here's our most recent newest winner. Brabbitt goes 4 faster. Strong season for Brabbitt this season, really good stuff indeed there, and I do feel that this is going to be interesting to see what Brabbitt can do now that he is a Grand Prix winner. Lights then on the lights on the back straight, and of course I think that where is Lucas Percy actually, because he is I think he's reserved tonight, isn't he? We've only got 19 drivers on the circuit. Where I've lost Lucas Percy. That's not good. 17 pole position there for Lucas Percy. As that lights there goes third fastest in the Mercedes car. Flippy. To be honest, I think, did I say in the last couple of races that Brabbit and Flippy were the most likely? Goodness me, how did he get that car through those final 2 corners? It's beyond me. That is an incredible commitment. And only 4 fastest? Good gracious me. But when we was on board with him, I'm sure he was going to be into the Wall of Champions, which is quite fitted, as Flippy is, of course, the defending silver champion, of course. And there's a lot of silver on that McLaren. I think it's more chrome, isn't it? Troy back in the session. I think he's had a couple of issues getting into the session there, but of course, Troy, the former champion of Season 8. Of course, sadly, Troy is more of a midfield driver these days, isn't he, rather than a front runner. Back in probably one of the most controversial, legendary seasons of ALR Grand Prix racing, I think it is. One of my favourite seasons, Season 8 is. I absolutely love it. What a lovely Canadian summer is that. Ooh, Canada, the land of maple syrup. And also ice hockey as well. And of course, home of the legendary Jacques Villeneuve, the last ever Formula One Canadian world champion. Is it the only F1 Canadian champion, Jacques Villeneuve? No, maybe. I don't know, to be honest, actually. I need to, I'll be interested to know. Goes across the line is MHD going 6th fast month for in the World Championship. As we said there, do not get too excited or get too disgruntled, fans out there of MHD, of Nameless, Cam and Legends at the moment. We're on board with Legends' teammate. Love the helmet design, by the way, from Sam Swift Ninja, currently 2nd in the championship. And he hasn't won a Grand Prix now since round 2 in Japan for Sam Swift Ninja. And is this mission critical now for the triple world champion there? Or am I just making a mountain out of a molehill? Of course, that as we have got 20 rounds on the season there. Remember this time last season, round 8 was about half distance because, of course, we only had 16 rounds of season 12 there. Lovely bit of towing here from the Kick Sauber drivers. Good 17th there as Legends there trying to help out his team leader. Coming up to the line as well, Sauber Ninja kissing the Wall of Champions there. Doesn't want to be doing anything more than just a smooch there, but up into 3rd position it goes at the Kick Sauber. Pease, who Pease in the Alpine. Now we've also got Lucas Percy coming up to the line as well. Of course, a 2-time winner, Lucas Percy. Sounds like Ninja. I don't think has not won a Grand Prix around here, which is I gotta say it's a very rarity to see a circuit where Sam Swift Ninja has not won around. Pease goes into 9th position there in the Alpine. I must say, I think it's a very difficult task to talk about drivers. It's night and day drivers, isn't it? Between last season and this season, Pease is one driver that has really stood up into the seat of that Alpine cockpit. It's been pretty impressive indeed. Then, unfortunately, we have the opposite end of the spectrum here for Jamie Morris. He's really struggling in that Haas car this year. It's not looking ideal. Jack Potato, Jack Potato, beans before cheese or cheese before beans? Ooh. I'm sure this is. Gosh, you're testing me now, Ashton. Goodness me. I think that you put the cheese. No, because I really like melted cheese, so I'd actually put the cheese after the beans. No, but that sounds odd, actually, doesn't it? Looks like I'm late again, so serious mushroom shocking stuff indeed. Nothing beats landing at Heathrow and getting the ALR straight up. Then says Luke. Then of course Luke has been on holiday. Shame on him. I can't know where Luke went now. Then so hopefully Luke can enlighten me. Landing on holiday and getting ALR straight up beats that. Notlesy, beans before cheese, says Real Ashton. To be fair, I actually agree with that because I do like melted cheese, but to be honest, it just feels a bit odd having putting the cheese on after, doesn't it? Equals, of course, Grand Prix winner around here a few seasons ago in that infamous race. Why is it infamous here? Because, of course, Farkas in the common spot for most of the race. As I was coming back from Alton Towers or something like that. Morris, unfortunately, not having a great time out there on a 14 now, so we've got to find some more time on the board. I think I was either at Cheesenton or Alton Towers, and I can't remember which one I was at. Don't really like flea bites, to be honest. That scares the bejesus out of me, personally. Chaz are then out to the hairpin, but I think he's crawling at the moment, Chaz is. Boxtail's not. 99th Grand Prix starts tonight for Boxtail, going to be 100 next week. Fantastic stuff indeed. Cheesy Beezy Tattoo figured out. Hello, go from Mayran, and Pole is at 8-6. They're very confidently done now. Love it there. Straight in there with the predictions. Fantastic stuff indeed. Oh, goodness me. Right, let me get rid of all my notifications. Oh, goodness me, it's 24 degrees outside. Oh, gosh. Oh, it's Nameless ALR qualifying, and he's off. He's off, you know. Where is he? And, oh, goodness me, he has crashed there. Did Perez crash there a few years ago? Massa did as well, hasn't he? Oh dear, oh dear. Nameless said that's not ideal. Of course, Nameless is been in position, finished in the worst position for most of the season. I think he's like 11-4 times, hasn't he? For Nameless, but unfortunately he's now down in top position, and he's not going to get any quicker either. And this circuit has got extreme weather over the winter, hasn't it? So this circuit does get a bit of a bruise. It does it over all the seasons here in Montreal, Canada. Box I go 6th position then, so I'm expecting the times to tumble here like a fruit machine. Where was this? Where was Farf swearing his head off? I don't think Farf actually swore during the stream. I don't think. I was kind of half listening to it, whilst at the same time I tried to get back in time for the race, which I don't think I did yet, to be fair, because we had to stop at McDonald's because no one had eaten. Right, so it's a Menace lowers the bar, and it's now a 8.778 there for Menace. What did Mayran say? An 8.6, and so we're still 10th of a second away. Mortals out on circuit. MHD has just gone third fast in the LP. Now it's getting lively here in qualifying. Look at that then, as Mortals there, not taking too much curve then. Sam Swift coming in the pits in 4th position. Van Vaughn is up in the 5th position. Boxer and Lights are 6th and 7th. Flippy in 8th. 9th Percy. 10th is Morris there. Morris a much better second run there. That's looking very good indeed. One of the hardest tracks since this Equaz, of course, as Equaz won on here. Oh, Immortal has invalidated his time. That's a problem. 5 minutes to go in this qualifying session. There's a Van Von there. Look at that, not taking too much curve down. You've got to tame these curves, don't you, here in Montreal? Who was that jumped up the order? Someone just jumped up the order there. I didn't see who it was. I think it might have been one of the McLarens. No, I'm lying because neither of the McLarens are out there. Now as we got Van Von. Van Von, they're coming into the second intermediate split time now. He's a 10th of a second down there. And I wonder if it was where he was swirling out of turn 5 and 6 or 7 and 8, something like that. Because whether you count the kink or not remains to be seen now. Yellow flag then for when the kick out was just getting out of the way there. So Van Von, let's see what he can do. I wonder if he might have saved some of his tyre grip for this final chicane here. He flips it in there now. Look at the commitment. Goodness me. And you can literally see where the fast and the fastest drivers really gain time on this circuit, can't you? And that is what makes this circuit quite magical. Troy goes 6th fastest there. Whisker behind Van Von there. Percy in the first sector time. Flippy's invalidated as well. Someone mentioned it's a penalty fest there. I can't remember who it was there. Oh, it's Serious Rush there. Yeah, I love a pen fest there. Also, last season I hit Farf in Canada, so probably Mayran then. To be honest, Mayran, I think that we all love to hit Farf, don't we? And to be fair, it was probably Farf's fault anyway. I can't remember the instance, to be fair. But let's be honest about it, we always like to point the finger at Farf. I certainly do, because I think it's funny. Goodness me. Right, Chats are coming into the chicane now. Only 14 turns on this course there. Out of it now. Serious worship. Goodness me. Chazza goes 50 fastest then. What about Cam? Oh, he's invalidated. So at the moment we've got Menace on pole position there. We have Mortal alongside him. Here's Sam Swift Ninja emerging out of the garage now. So I think that Sam Swift, this is going to be his final run now for Sam Swift, which is not ideal. So it's not ideal then because he's kind of out of sync then. But let's see what he can do. Here is Sam Swift there at 10 pole positions in his 58 qualifying attempts so far in his career. That is a pole position in 1 in every 6 there. And some people, this ginger guy here, was saying that Sam Swift Ninja's probably weak element of his repertoire if he's got anything, which kind of just scratched on the surface about Sam Swift and his weaknesses. Was qualifying, but having a 1 pole position in 6 races, give or take, then is pretty phenomenal indeed. Then I've run out on 1, so that's not good. Neil Pace says Equals there. Equals is not looking too comfortable in that Red Bull at the moment, the former Grand Prix winner from a few seasons ago here. So we've got a couple of other drivers out on circuit now, 3 minutes ago in this qualifying session now. Oh goodness me, Serious Russia has sent some pictures or something. I don't know what to do there. My worst gold in quali, says Equals. Up to Sam Swift into that on board with the triple world champion. He has been undefeated in the championship since season 9. That is since F1 23. That is the first season of F1 23. Flies past me now. Goodness me, almost took my mustache off then, which I haven't got one because I can't grow one. 10 for a second up in the first sector, Tottenham. Out of the chicane. DRS right at the minute. There it is. And look at that. He's still got plenty of battery. Has the triple world champion now. Now go to Feather over to the left-hand side so he can open up the corner of the chicane here. Immortal's out of qualifying. That's no pole position for Immortal this season, which is a rarity. It's the rarity. Santos Ninja has lost a bit of time in the second sector. He's less than 10 per second up in the second sector. What can his final sector do now? 2 minutes in this qualifying session now. You kind of have to be thinking about getting out of the garage now. That yes, of course, you do not want to. It is only a 70-second lap there, but of course, if you want to get a decent time, not ruin those tyres, you cannot be coming out of the garage and going full power then. Santos Ninja out of the final turn. That looks quite leisurely out of the final turn there. Let's see what it is on the board, and it's lost a lot of time there. Santos Ninja has there. And yes, you could tell, can't you? Because on last time when he was on board Santos Ninja, he was taking absolute liberties, wasn't he? Into that chicane, which is really impressive stuff indeed. And look at this then. Boxtel's got a lovely toe here. And look at this. This. Oh my goodness me. And there's contact. I thought there was a toe, but there's contact between the two cars. And Boxtel into the pits now. It's one of the LPs. And who is it? Who is it? It's I'm not sure if it's P's or if it's his there's two Alpines in front of us here. P's coming across the line going 7 fastest. It was the other Alpine now of Nick Candish there causing, I think it was Nick Candish, MHD causing all kinds of issues out there. And who's that? Someone's parked on the outside there. Menace now going for a pole position there. Van Von's out of qualifying there. Nick Candish is going for broke again, but Sam Swift is going to be in 5th position there. As P's in 7th position. Young Lights is in the war, and that was part that space was reserved for Nick Heitpout in 2011. Flippy then, who is now going to go for another time lap as well. This is going to be last one across the line. Legends are getting a toe off of one of the Haas cars. It was Morris there. We got a racing board just in front of us. That's contact there, and that's Legends. He's not going to improve, sadly. And that was contact with the war of the champion, with all the champions there for Legends. And Legends frustrated in the kick Sauber. Kaz in the first sector. Bravitt going for broke as well. Down in 16th position. The last week's race winner. Cam goes 18th. That is it then. Of course, Cam didn't improve his time next. I think he invalidated, unfortunately. Flying past me now is Knowlesy. Let's go on board with Alexander then. Of course, the 3-time Grand Prix winner. Candice pole position there for the Canadian Grand Prix. Wow. Menace has to complete this up. He's got a Red Bull in front of him. No, Menace is invalidated. That is it for Menace. Samson Ninja's got one more run. Then he's put me in my place there. Flippy also out on circuit as well. Equals down in 17th position. Down in 18th position is Cameron. Well, those two have completed their lap times. What about Knowlesy? Knowlesy coming out to the line side. 2 second improvement. Knowlesy goes 17th. Good stuff indeed. What about Flippy? Flippy, I wonder if he took a bite out of the wall there. Charles down in 15th position. Flippy, 4th position. Great recovery there from Flippy. Good stuff indeed. Troy finishes 7th there. What about Bravitt goes 12th fastest. Morris is invalidated. That's frustrating for Morris. Into the pits and out of qualifying there is Percy down in 11th position there for the former champion. Across the line, South Swift Ninja. The start pole position, is it? No, it's second position. It's second position there. And it is pole position there for... is it MHD? It was MHD by 7,500 seconds. Samson Ninja is second today, and that is MHD's first pole position of his career. Why am I allowed to copy? How dare you? This is MHD's first pole position of his career in ALR Gold Grand Prix racing. Absolutely ecstatic is the Alpine driver. I am sure of it. I certainly am as well. There might be some controversy about what happened on the outlap or on the outlap there. I'm not sure what happened on the outlap. Maybe there was a misunderstanding potentially, but MHD on pole position, and that I think is Alpine's first pole position of the season as well. They've had such a good season. I'm surprised that is their first pole position. Lovely sunshine in the Grand Prix as well. MHD's first pole position of his career. Fantastic stuff indeed. Where am I? Anyone see Champions in the Creative Series? Was he? Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, did he do well? What a terrible lap then, says Light said. Should have been 2 or 3 tenths a second up. He's Alpine knee candy, can do what he likes, said. Oh, evening, Sean. Hello, all racers. Good luck, go then. Scrap says Equals in same time, said. Serious Mushroom is hiding behind his eyes, said. Superstar here, Equals says. Coop then. Need it then. Who said an 8.6, says Mayran. It was you, wasn't it? Incredible stuff indeed. I'm going to be honest, I thought that was snow on the glass there, wasn't it? But lovely stuff indeed then. As I quickly go and get some Monster. I need to cut down, to be honest. Whew. I can't believe that's MHD's first pole position of his career, but he's had such a good season, hasn't he? Samsung Ninja has not won a Grand Prix since the Japanese Grand Prix back in round 2 of the World Championship. He is currently second in the championship. That he has a deficit of 47 points then. Mission critical, potentially. Thank you very much, Cameron, by the way, for the €10. I appreciate that indeed. I want to know if there's going to be any arguing with the what happened on the back straight then. But it looks like that. Nothing is really coming to warm for that then, which is fair enough. Right, let's have a look then. So MHD on pole position for the first time of his career. Fantastic stuff. Soundswift Ninja is alongside on Route 1. Soundswift Ninja needs a result today at round 8 out of 20. Yes, I know, he's still got over halfway through, but that is incredible stuff there for Soundswift to get himself back on there. So Menace, who I thought was going to be on pole position, ended up third in. He did get that last run in, nor did Immortal in pole position, but he's directly behind his championship rival in 4th. Flippy on row 3 with Van Von in 6th position. Troy in 7th with Pease in 8th position. It's an all Mercedes affair on row 5. And then we have Percy on soft tyres in 11th position. But Morris already had issues there. Hopefully he hasn't done an Alan Prost there in 12th position. Bravitt in 13th. 14th is Nameless with Legends in 15th. Chazza 16th with Knowlesy 17th with Equals and Cam 18th and 19th there. Hard runners for Morris. We're on board with Morris now. Hard runners, hard for Lights, hard for Bad Bond. Also hard for Chazza and Knowlesy. Medium time for us, apart from Lucas Percy, the 2-time Grand Prix winner. The last 2 races have been won by the former world champion here. MHD first time pole position. That's dandruff, Sean, not snow. Wipe your screen then. To be honest, how dare you? I use Head and Shoulders. I thought you had dandruff. No, I don't. Is that how it goes? I don't know. To be honest, that advert was getting on my nerves the other day. Goodness me. There's one stop here, one stop here, one stop here, one stop here, says Serious Mushroom there. As we're now all formed up on the grid then. I must admit, I thought this would be a 2-stopper, because this circuit has had a lot of elevated tyre wear in the past. We've only got 3 laps, now we've got all 5 lights on. It's off! Here away we go in Canada then! It's a short run down into turn 1, but P is already past Troy. Immortal's already past Menace, but Menace is going to have the inside there. There's contact then between the 2 cars. Menace on the outside, but Immortal's going to be on the inside now. As we've got the 2 Mercedes there fighting wheel to wheel as well. As Flippy in 5th position there. As Menace is through, contact again. Menace is getting wheel to wheel there. Immortal cannot afford to lose a wing here, but he has lost a position there. As Flippy is through, down into 5th position there, because Immortal Van Von in 6th there, with Troy in 7th there, as we got all kinds of mischief here, as Nameless is off the circuit there, as Menace is off the circuit as well. What's happened? Menace is dropping back then. What's happened to the Ferrari driver dropping down the order? Of course, Ferrari have got a very rich history in Montreal then, of course, with the legendary Gilles Villeneuve, but sadly the legendary Menace has had an issue there on the opening lap, and he's down 5 positions. A terrible start for the Ferrari. As Flippy up 2 positions, a magnificent start for the McLaren. Lights has gone up the inside of his teammate, or has he? As the 2 Mercedes are still battling wheel to wheel. My word there, as Boxtel is in 9th position, up into down to 10th goes Lights, and Percy on the soft tyres. No progress has been made there from Percy, and I think he'll be disappointed with that then. Lap 1 completed, as the gap is already a 2.5 then between Flippy and Sam Swift Ninja. Sam Swift Ninja, of course, DRS will be available now then, as they all come streaming across the line now. Knowlesy down at the back of the field there. Was there debris off of MHD's car? I don't think there was, actually. But you can see Menace, biggest loser, biggest winner was Equals, and he had a demon start as well, didn't he? But look at the front 2, they're already pulling away from the rest of the field. Incredible stuff indeed there. So Immortal regains 4th position there. Menace and Immortal there was clanging wheels, banging wheels, weren't they? There was getting, it was getting very feisty, wasn't it, between those two drivers? Goodness gracious me. And of course, Immortal cannot afford to lose his wing or get damage on that on that frat car. Then, of course, yes, they're only on round that. He has a 47 lead in the World Championship, but still, you cannot afford to get damage, can you? At any stage of the Grand Prix, especially with points are all the way down into 10th position at the moment. What's occurred? There's yellow flags. Nosey's come a cropper and has damaged the end plate on that Williams car. Oh dear, that's not ideal. Here's DRS and Flippy might be a sitting duck. He is a sitting duck. He's a sitting Flippy, and he is now down into 4th position. And now then, Immortal has he got the pace to get after the two in front then. That gap is already 2.5 seconds. Oh my goodness me, Van Vort just about getting through there. We thought he's going to have a replay of Norris and Piastri. Albeit that wouldn't have looked as awkward as Lando and Piastri back in the real race. But Flippy lost 2 positions there on those final 2 straights of the circuit. Heavens above. Menace! Oh my goodness me, Menace having a horror show, and he's off the circuit where Massa crashed in 2013 in qualifying potentially. Back on circuit now is Menace, but Menace got a bit of as Mad Max has joined, but a bit too late there for Mad Max. But sadly for Menace, having issues in that Ferrari there, and having banging of wheels there with Immortal, and now all of a sudden in the back of the field there. So what has happened there to Menace? We do not see that. I wonder if the Ferrari driver sees red then potentially. My laptop. Oh, it's through goes! As Menace is off the circuit, it's through goes Sam Swift Ninja. He takes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix, gets ahead of MHD then, and now Sam Swift has not, as of course, not won a race set in over 5 races now. And look at that, he's already got an 8/10 of a second buffer over MHD then. So what can Sam Swift Ninja do? Into the pits comes Chaza very early on hard tyres. So this is an unscheduled stop for the McLaren driver. 3-second penalty already for Cam then. So that's a horror show for the McLaren team. Flippy is in 5th position as well, just on board with Troy. Back in 6th position of the boat is Troy at the moment. But look at the car being very unstable there, isn't it? So I'm wondering then if Immortal might even, because the gap is 2 seconds. It's not out of the question, is it? Menace in the pits as well. Menace is out of the Grand Prix, and after what looked very good in qualifying, has sadly not got at all won the race there. And I'm wondering if there's going to be a little bit of words exchanged there between Immortal and Menace then after the opening frat car, and potentially, albeit rubber this race, as they say in British touring cars, doesn't it? But that is Menace's first retirement of the season then for the Ferrari driver. So disappointed indeed that MHD having a sniff, but nothing more than that then. I think he's just trying to antagonise the triple world champion, but he needs to probably antagonise him a bit more than that then. Out of the final turn then, you see lovely shot here as P's getting a bit sideways out of turn 14 now, so that's not going to help the tyres too much there for P's on board with last week's race winner, down in 11th position. Well, look at that, the Mars also doing a good job in that second half as well, so lovely jubbly. I haven't even got my tyres up, that's shocking. As there are the tyre strategy at the moment, as Menace out of the race already. Chaza, of course, having to pit early, so Chaza, I think, is going to be doomed to a 2-stop for them potentially. Goodness gracious me. Sam's on the mission, limited edition, says Serious Pleasure. Sam Swift Ninja, that, of course, as you said, that over the past 3 seasons, it has been the Sam Swift Ninja show. However, all of a sudden, then, Immortal is really coming to this season, and of course, a former champion in the event discipline, they're 100% event discipline. And so it's great to see that now Immortal is really starting to home his craft then on the 50% race as well. The World Championship race up the inside goes Brabham, passes, and Percy almost into the barrier there. And now both the cars have got through, and now here comes Equals through as well. He has through, and Bogstall's over the 10th position there. Where's the Red Bull? Goodness me, I thought he's getting the squeeze. Equals over the 13th position. Equals is on the mission tonight there. To 12th position. Percy into the pits then. So Percy's into the pits then. So the soft tyre gamble's not paid off at all for the season 9 champion. On board now with Pease, who's dropped down behind both Mercedes there. So not ideal at all for the Not ideal at all there for the Alpine driver. Greg, do you guys have an Xbox League? Sadly not, Greg, then. Albeit I'd love to say that in the future we will go cross-play. I'd love to see cross-play, but I'm not sure if of course, the race organisers, the head honchos, are not too keen on the cross-play element just yet there. On board with Troy at the moment, who's... oh my goodness me! That we're only on lap 6, and I'm wondering then if how dare I question, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Russian. But I reckon that with the amount of sliding going on, surely it might have to go to a two-stopper at this stage. Maybe, I do not know though. Because I was expecting this one coming into this race then, and just thinking about the previous races around here, which of course in real world have absolutely no inkling about what happens in this on this race here tonight. But in the real world, there of course there was a lot of this was the brainchild of the Pirelli ideal of having like tires that are falling off the cliff there, and also having tires that are very degradable. Of course, back in that 2010 race where we had multiple races there, didn't we? In the Bridgestone era as well, which is very unheard of in the Bridgestone era. Van Von is just had a 3-second penalty. Lights has got a 10-second penalty. Goodness gracious me, what's Lights done now? I wonder if he scampered off in the first chicane there, and probably didn't slow down enough for the stewards to liking there, and it's got a 10-second penalty, unfortunately. So not ideal at all for Young Lights there. Box out in 10th position at the moment there, as MHD did get quite close to the back of Sam Swift. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, the 2010 Canadian Grand Prix, I think, was the brainchild or the idea. We are now in degradable tyres there, of course, which is Pirelli's brief when they first came in at 2011 there. And of course, the year after, we had the race, which was the longest race in F1 history, and it will still be the longest race in F1 history after the rules changed after that year. Of course, at 4 hours and 4 minutes then, totally from start to finish. The only and of course, though, that I prefer to just not have that rule there potentially of having like a time limit stuff. Yes, I know it'll be a bit boring, keep sitting and watch it. As Lights there, even with that 10-second penalty, still gets past that box down here and moves 7 to 7th position there. Yes, but that's probably because, as Legends get a 3-second penalty as well, that's probably because I have no life and I could sit and watch Martin Brundle and Crofty, or even David Croft, Crofty or Martin Brundle talk for hours and hours and hours, because I do like a good old chit-chat of the commentary box, which is why I probably like practice quite a bit as well. Even though, of course, we now have social media, don't we, to hear about what goes on in and out of the paddock and pit area. Nosey out of the pits now for new, fresh front wing, but however, that is going to also condemn, is that the right word? Condemn into a two-stopper here, potentially. Here comes the penalties. Think, let's go, Flippy. No rain in Canada, how dare you? Absolutely, how dare you? But I do expect there to be rain in Silver tomorrow. And don't worry, actually, I'm sure it'll be rain in the race, in bronze as well. Up the inside before you even get to the chicane there. So Sam Swift and Ninja trying to get out of that DRS. Whoa, did he hit the barrier? That goodness gracious me, that's full commitment now for the triple world champion going down into turn 1. Mortor is now within 2 seconds there, but that gap hasn't come down at all. And look at the Mortor, he's towing along quite nicely. Van Von and Flippy there. Very good stuff indeed. On the court from bronze years ago, then still love watching you guys. It's great to see you. Jamie's got a 3-second penalty. Of course, the Gort, a Grand Prix winner in bronze. Of course, I think a 2-time Grand Prix winner in bronze, actually. Bearing in mind that, don't quote me on that, because that is very much, some reason I got 2-time winner in the back of my mind in bronze. It might be even completely different. I'll have a mooch afterwards. There's a Van Von there who's currently in 4th position over there. At the moment with Van Von, who is in 3rd position. There's a multiple chance. Has got another 3-second penalty. Goodness gracious me. As Serious Merchant said, there are a lot of penalties that Mad Max has left the session. Unfortunately, a bit too little too late there for Mad Max. But hopefully we'll see a reserve in bronze or event or silver in the next couple of races. Hopefully not in 100% though, because I don't want to be beaten. To be honest, ideally what would happen in the event league on Wednesday is that only if 19 drivers didn't turn up and I turned, and just me that turned up, that'd be fantastic. Into the, my word, peace out, almost going over the speed limiter line there, but how he kept that going, that was fantastic. So lap 10, into the pits now comes Pease, and he's got to do 25 laps on those hard tyres. And Mushroom, what do you think of that? because I think that that's going to be a stretch too far from my point of view. Why do I say that? Don't have a clue, to be fair, but it's just I got a feeling in my cockles. The pits now does come up, Peas. You'll have fresher. I gotta say, Percy's back end there is very floaty there, isn't it? I wish my back end was as light as Percy's. That's incredible. Look at the gap there. The gap is now back down to half a second, then, but we're watching this battle as Immortals found another 3/10 of a second on this one as well. And I'm already glistening in the beautiful candlelit apartment room that I'm in at the moment, which, by the way, it's got candlelit. I just got all my lights off because gingers, you cannot be too careful. On board now with Van Von, and now can Van Von get past Immortal here then? As Immortal is, I think that Immortal might be in a bit of trouble. He's also harvesting as well. None of the top runners are coming in the pits then. So we had Peas that came in the pits here, who was in the top 10, but now he's in the pits. Here comes Van Von. Is he going to have a sniff down to turn 1? Turn 1 is inviting, but I don't think it's an easy pass, though, is it? Probably the easier pass is down into 13 and 14 there. It's an easy one stop, says it Mayrad. For that 14 for one stop first, if anyone goes for it, says Serious Russia. Well, both Mayrad and Serious Russia thinks it's a one stop, so there we go. Put me in my place, didn't it? Gosh. You can tell I'm not very successful on the Grand Prix circuit, can't you? Especially if, as Cam has now got a 3-second penalty. We'll have a look at the penalties later on in the race. So MHD leads the race with Sam Swift and Ninja in second position. Immortal has got the gap to now second and a half. On board with Flippy, though, the silver champion. Good stuff indeed there, Flippy. And I would say the most successful silver champion has come up to gold in a long time then, which is really good to see. Fourth position is Van Bottom with Flippy in fifth. Troy in sixth position, kind of a no man's land at the moment, is the former champion. Lights in seventh position, but he has a harsh 10-second penalty. Maybe the stewards can review that penalty, but I feel that maybe the punishment might fit the crime then, depending if he was taking liberties in the turn 3 unfortunate cane then. We didn't see it on stream note, and I'm just hazarding a guess that Lights got another penalty to add to all kinds of penalties as well. To add to his collection of penalties. Into the pits comes Nameless from 13th position there, so Nameless going for an undercut. And if the drivers want to go for an undercut, then that's all fine and good, but of course you've got to get these tyres to the end of the race then. Albeit they're both saying, both Mayran and Serious Russian, the experts in the comment section, are both saying it's an easy one stop. So surely if I was them, I'd start to think about pitting now, really, going for the undercut. You're on a Red Bull. You're the Red Bull number 1, Sean. I absolutely am, which is why that the success has been few and far between since I've not raced in the last 2 races, albeit last time I raced, it was a double race. I think I DNF'd in both of them. However, the first time I DNF was due to I had a punch on the last lap, and I didn't want to have the shame of trying to come back and finish the race. And in Azerbaijan, I ran out of talent, albeit some would say I didn't even have any talent to begin with. But of course, that was a bit too harsh. And how dare you? On board with Van Von, and up in the front position, getting past them all. Contact! Debris and the World Championship leader as Cam is having a bit of a scrappy race, and albeit he's still in 4th position. He's now in 5th. But I think he was caught out with Van Von, who was still taking turn 13 and 14. He's coming to the pits. That's a nose cone change for the race and 4. But this is, I think, the first time this season that Immortal is having a bit of a difficult race. He's been on the podium every race since Japan, but all of a sudden it has become a bit tricky for the World Championship leader. Let's see how this one transpires. And that'll be an extra 3 second added onto his pit stop time there, which is still incredible of how quickly they do change these front nose cones on these cars. It's incredible. Of course, when I started watching F1 back in the black and white TV time, back in the late 30s, it feels like. Pit stops, of course, used to be about 10 odd seconds at very least. Then, of course, as that included fuel change as well. As Sam Swift Ninja is now causing MHD all kinds of boxes there. See, that's why I said worst. That's why I said worst pit lane the other week. Then says Serious Russia. Of course, as I think we talking about Austria's worst pit in, or was it Miami? It was one of the races we had a few races ago. Hang on, let me get me old. Or was it Japan? As Brabbitt has been speeding in the pit lane. He's got a 10-second penalty. Soundstrip Ninja has stayed out. So MHD has come into the pits now. Also in the pits is Brabbitt. And these strategy calls has been all kind of split up. Love the shot here from Sam's rear posterior here. Of course, I don't think Sam Swift's going to be too impressed with that if I say that, but I got to say, I love the camera shot there from the diffuser. Sam Swift Sam Swift leads this way then and is going for an overcut then, or potentially he feels that he'll be able to keep the tyres in a sensible operating window. So Immortals come out, even with that, with additional pit in. Well, Percy's in front of him. Percy's done 8 laps on the medium tyres. Who am I looking at? I'm looking at MHD is who I was supposed to be looking at. He's in 8th finish. He's got a 7-second buffer between himself and Morris, who has not pitted just yet, which is beautiful stuff. The two Mercedes are very much tied to each other. Mushroom screams, pit Sam. So is he going to listen? No, he stays out. Goodness gracious me. The Triple World Champion has stayed out then. And is this, I'm wondering if this might be a lap too long. Into the pits comes Flippy now. My word. As, goodness me, look at these two Mercedes drivers going very all over each other. Here comes Boxtown, wheel to wheel. Both drivers have won Grand Prix. So both drivers with varying rays of success in ALR. Of course, Light's a one-time winner back in Zandvoort in Season 5. I think he was the one that stopped Eat the Cookies domination. And then, of course, or Season 4 potentially. And then, of course, Boxstar, a former runner-up in ALR, of course, and also finished third in the last two seasons there twice, I believe. But he has fallen off the cliff as of late then for Boxstar. A bit like Troy, to be honest, because success is never always guaranteed in this sport, is it? Goodness gracious me. That's it, Sam, you're fired. We got Halsey then. Evening, fellas. Good evening to you, my good sir. Great to have you along for the ride then, which certainly has been a ride so far. It's, oh my gosh, I've stubbed me toe. That really hurt. Pease is now in 8th. Flippy in 9th. Lucas Percy in 10th position. Lucas Percy is on a bit of an offset here. Of course, Percy. Wow! On the outside there, but Pease is going to dive on the inside and wants to stop flipping through, coming through. But what a magnificent maneuver. Get that noted down for overtaking the season. That was fantastic stuff indeed. Pease is not going to want to be a part of that montage, so is he? And here comes Pease having a sniff, but I think that the pressure tyres there, it's just too much there for Pease. But great stuff indeed. So Samsung Ninja out of the pits now. Where is he coming out then? MHD's already through, and I think that Flippy is coming up to the yes, there's Flippy. So Samsung Ninja has got an extra 2 laps on the hard tyres, and he can still see his rival here. Great stuff indeed there. That's absolutely fantastic for Sam Swift. And there is me and Sirius Rusham say doubted his strategy. And how dare we doubt Sam Swift? Incredible stuff. The only one retirement so far, that was Menace having a very dogged fight in the opening stage of this Grand Prix. Then something went awry for Menace. Crashed in the same place as Felipe Massa crashed there. And who crashed there recently? Perez crashed there in 2022. Was still 2023 in qualifying when it was a bit damp, a bit wet. But as Brown's got another 3-second penalty, we ain't even half distance yet, folks, and there's going to be a lot of penalties, and there could be a lot of work for the stewards to do here. Lights has now breezed past Troy. Lights, of course, is on the harder tyre, whilst Troy is on the medium tyre now, and he does come into the pits now. So Troy did 10-second penalty. And I think that did Troy have a 10-second penalty as well? Both Mercedes have got hefty penalties here tonight, and we're going to have a look, because I think that 10-second penalty for Troy and for Boxtown. That's a horror show, unfortunately, and that's not ideal at all. Then and Morris only 3 seconds on his account at the moment. Oh, but he has hit the barrier there. Hopefully that's not damage to the end play. MHD is now 3 seconds back then. Sam Swift Ninja, 2 drivers have not yet got any penalties even. And on board with Sam Swift Ninja, Cam has also got a 10-second penalty as well, and Cam is also retired from the Grand Prix. Sam Swift Ninja has now got some pace in that car. That's 2 retirements in this race already. 2 retirements in this race, and before half distance, and both drivers unfortunately have called it a day out of the Grand Prix. 17 cars remain there. Yeah, I am now just finished building a flat pack. Oh gosh, then. Horrible pit lane, says Sirius Mushroom. I hate building flat packs. To be honest, I'd rather just it come pre-built then, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I should just get one of those plumbers to build it for me. Not plumber, goodness me, I don't want him to unplug me pipe just yet. Here's Flippy, and Walter's got past teammate Percy for tonight. Pease! Oh my word, that these two have got an incredible battle rivalry here, and the incredible stuff. Starting with Ninja Delta at the far side of the race and coming across the line. We'll take a look at the penalty situation. Well, I've been trying to take a look at the penalty situation for the last few laps or so. Brabbit! Oh my word, and there's contact between the two cars there as Brabbit and Percy. Now, goodness me, getting a bit close and personal here. Brabbit switched to the inside there. Percy there just keeps the race in line just about, and Nosey has got a 3-second penalty as well. 16 seconds for Young Lights, and 10-second penalty for a corner cutter on. He might be able to get rid of 10 seconds of that by serving it in the pit lane when he pits. 13 seconds for Brabbit, 10 seconds is for Speed in the pit lane, 10 seconds for Troy, 10 seconds for Boxstar as well. And then after that, I think they've been very good with lack of penalties. Van Von is the driver currently with 9 seconds of penalties. That could come and hurt him then. No warnings this week in a Bronze Mushroom. I doubt it, but we'll try that. I think that's going to be the key to the race, isn't it? There with no penalties, and it's just on board with Flippy. It'd be interesting to know is Soundswift Ninja, who is never mind, because Soundswift Ninja's already through going into turn number 13. Great 17, and here comes Flippy and Peas. A great battle between these two. I'm enjoying this one. It's been a fantastic showdown, and Flippy's got back past it. Cam is out of the race, and it's up to session. Percy, there's too many P's in my life, is just coming to the pits for a second stop now. Immortal as Soundswift Ninja's got past Morris and moved himself over the 4th position there. As Legend's got a 3-second penalty. Goodness gracious me, it's all kicking off now. Immortal then currently, as it stands, and he's been on the podium in every single race since the Bahrain Grand Prix. 3-second penalty now for Boxer, but the thing for Immortal is he's got no penalties. It's not looking great for Immortal, but of course there's no penalties. There's no penalties there for the championship leader. Morris jumped down the order, and sadly Morris does get a penalty on that instance there. Soundswift Ninja is absolutely flying out there on lap 19. He is really starting to kick it up a gear now. Is the world champion all over the back of Lights. Lights has done the whole race on those hard tyres, so I don't think that Lights is going to be able to defend this one too hard. Van Von is about 4 seconds up the road there, and they're going to extend their stints as much as possible because they got to go onto those medium tyres there. Of course, you have to use 2 types of tyres in this Grand Prix, and like every Grand Prix, of course, but we have new people watching all the time. Oh no! And Morris, who's having the best race of his season, is in the wall. And that is such a shame there for Morris. And unfortunately for Morris, and probably fortunately for some other drivers out there, there is no safety car or VSC then for Morris, but that is such a shame that Morris was going to have a very quick final sector, as he would have been on the medium tyres then, wouldn't he? Morris would be very quick indeed, but sadly for Morris, the horror show of a season continues, and it doesn't rain, but it pours in the Haas garage. Flippy, who would like to have been a bit further up the road, but it's so difficult to get out DRS here, isn't it? By the looks of things, and I said that Soundswift Ninja's almost 2 seconds up the road now from MHD. Of course, MHD securing his first pole position this season, and his career as well, hoping to secure his first ever Grand Prix win. But at the moment, Soundswift Ninja is on course to win his 27th race set, as yellow flag then is for Morris having issues, unfortunately. Equals could fly up the board. No curse, says Serious Mushroom. Well, I've read it out now, so Serious Mushroom is a curse. Equal said if he gets a penalty. Van Bon's in the pit, and so is Lights in the pits as well. Pease has now lost out to Pease has gone into the wall there. That looked a bit iffy, but I'm wondering if a steer jam there, because Pease just went straight there, didn't he? I reckon there's something. There's a steer jammed or something like that, because VSC is out on the circuit now. Morris has got a drive-through penalty as well for speeding on the safety car. Van Vol has got out in front of Troy, and who else was in the pits as well at that time? I think it was Brabbit, wasn't it? I don't know who it was actually. It was Lights actually. So Lights also coming on the pits as well. So the VSC kind of helped him there, but unfortunately for Pease, major damage there to the Alpine. I think that there was a technical failure there for Pease, because he done the first part of the chicane, no problem, but then the car just went straight into the wall of champions. Lights got a 3-second penalty. That's a cheap penalty, unfortunately, under the VSC. Top 4 have not got any penalty just yet. And locking up both front tyres. And Pease ain't going to be concerned about the tyres now, though, of course, because he'll be getting rid of those tyres. And that is frustration for Pease, who's had such a good start to the season. But And that's a bit unfortunate. And that's a second drive-through penalty, unfortunately for Morris, and it is frustration out there. Troy being forced wide there and almost into the barrier there as Van Von there was going through, come rain or shine, and there's no rain in the air at the moment there. That was strange, says Measure. I think that his steering locked up, to be honest there. Unfortunately for Peter, that is what's cost him a valuable fifth position, I think, then as it stands moment. He might have felt a bit, as a boxer's got a 3-second penalty, he might have felt a bit vulnerable towards the end of this race said, but Pease I think was on course for a major result here today, and that is such a shame that, well, I say a major result then, it's basically been the consistency for Pease this season, which has been fantastic. Equals has broken to the top 10 and now Legends doing a good job there. Goodness gracious me, there's a lot of drivers out there going under the radar that is driving superbly well out here tonight. It's about survival, isn't it, here in the Canadian Grand Prix? And of course we are expecting a lot more case of survival or the survival of the fittest come at silver and bronze as well, with a lack of penalties. Also, we expecting rain as well, especially when Farf's involved. Farf will be causing rain tomorrow, I have no doubt about that. Might have been too much curb, says Serious Mushroom. Oh yeah, it might have been too much curb, which also lifted the car up in the air potentially. Now a Molto and Flippy and Peas are probably the best battle of the weekend so far. Incredible 17. Flippy there with the beautiful chrome McLaren there. Here comes a Molto who's having probably his worst performance of the season so far. That's a big statement, isn't it? But the worst performance of the season so far. He's still up in the third position. Albeit he is about 4 seconds back now, but gets past Flippy. Boxout's also got past the Haas of Brabant, who's trying to recover after a difficult qualifying session. Van Von is set to pass that race, and Lights has got past Legends, but Lights does have a lot of penalties in that Mercedes. There's Equaz as well, also keeping up to the back of Legends. And then Equaz, of course, has got a lot of rich history around here. Of course, winning his first and currently only Grand Prix of his career, similar to Jean Alesi as Equaz as well. There, of course, exciting character, a beloved character in the paddock, and of course, a winner of the Canadian Grand Prix as well for Equaz. What more can you ask for? Flippy is going to be key. So Flippy knows that Immortal is leading the championship. Flippy knows that Immortal will probably jump out the way if he gets a good run going into the final chicane, or maybe into... that's a big lock-up for Immortal. If he wants to go to the end of the race on these hard tyres, he's going to have to start to really nurse them now to the end of this race, because that is not ideal. Here comes Van Von, who we was expecting was going to be a thorn in the side of the runners and riders, and a potential challenge for that final podium place here. Sandstorm Ninja is almost checked out there. Goodness gracious me, he's already at the airport, ready to go to the next race, which I think is in Austria, isn't it? Over the grid, Hatchins now then for Flippy. Then has a look into turn one. No dice one, and Van Von then will have to wait till the back straight going into 13 and 14, the final chicane. And look at how grubby that Red Bull is. Goodness gracious me, might have a bit of a clean on that then. Might have been a bit too much. Oh, I've read that already. Gotta be a champion to that wall, so we are safe in Canada, sure. How dare you, Mushroom? I won the championship. Well, I don't think, when's the last time I won the championship on F1 career? As Morrison out of the race, and of course he had 2 drive-through penalties, and P's out of the race as well. But Troy's getting a 3-second penalty. I can't remember the last time I won a championship on this game, to be fair. But of course we will be constructed champions, Mushroom, by the end of the event league. So yes. Oh, up the inside goes Van Von, and going through passes Flippy, and up into 4th position goes Van Von. So sadly Morris getting disqualified, but he had 2 drive-through penalties, and of course he had to probably serve one after the other, and I'm wondering if he just didn't have enough time. But Morris out of the race from what was promising to be a really good race. Van Von now in the 3rd position there, but Van Von does have a couple of penalties to his name, so he's going to have to really rocket away now. So P's out of the Grand Prix. Cam, Menace and Morris all out of the race so far. 15 cars remain out of the 19 that started. Lucas Percy has got past Equals. Percy and Equals, both drivers have not got point. And Samson Ninja has a penalty, but at the moment it is not going to cause any issues, as that's P's car just parked at the exit of turn 3. That's not going to cause any issues, I don't think, yet, as Legends is lost out now to Percy, who's moved his way up into 10th position in the 2nd race and ball. Of course, Samsung Ninja has a 3-second penalty, but that's not going to be a prominent one. And it's MHD is struggling to keep up at the moment. Now, Samsung Ninja, who just has so much pace around here, doesn't he? Here tonight, as Troy just slipping and sliding that Williams car there. That's not ideal for the tyres, though, is it? Mortal's done 12 laps on his hard tyres, so he's done the most lappage then, and that could come back to hurt him then. Nameless also done 13 laps, and Nameless may be out of a fight though for the points, sadly, for Nameless. He's 10 seconds away at the moment. Position update says far. To be honest, I am actually vertical a bit far, so which is very unusual, isn't it? Usually I'm probably more horizontal, which I spend. Oh, I pinned my headset! Ow, my word! I'm okay. There are the position changes. And who would you say is driving the day then, folks? Let's give Farf a helping hand, shall we? Even though Farf doesn't need a helping hand, because he's probably got more driver of the days than most of these drivers in this field. Then I would say that. Of course, the most driver of the day at the moment is actually Troy with 14 driver of the days so far. So we're on board with Troy with 14 drivers a day. But yes, who would be driver of the day? I think Southside Ninja probably is a good shout for driver of the day. Van Von doing a good job out there as well. Also, of course, drivers who haven't got pounds of their own. MHD doing a good job, but locking up the inside tyre again is a mortal. Not ideal, unfortunately. Anyone else? Equels could potentially be a shoe-in for, could be a shout-out for driver of the day as well. If he doesn't get any penalties, and also Legend doing a good job as well. But I must say that probably hasn't helped Farf at all. But I don't think Farf needs any help with picking driver of the day. As him and Musher, I think, are probably first and second with the most driver of the days in ALR history. ALR history. So Serious Mushroom and Farfen are probably quite experts with driver of the day. I think I got 2. And I'm sure one of them was driver of the day just because everyone had penalties and I didn't. But there we go. That's my claim to fame in ALR with my 1 podium and all that stuff. But I am a Constructors Champion, and up until this season, every admin apart from Knowlesy has been a Constructors Champion, which I hate to throw Knowlesy under the throw shade on Alexander, but of course Alexander is a Grand Prix winner and I'm not, so of course I'm a bit salty about that. And actually thinking about that, every admin has won a Grand Prix apart from me. Morse's got a 3-second penalty, and that is going to be costly at the moment because Flippy does not have any penalties at all. And unfortunately, Nameless is out of the race, and that's a crash. And is that going to be that's a safety car? And this is from the cat amongst the pigeons. And it's a Triple World Champion with a 3-second penalty. Has going to cover the pits, but he's going to have a 3-second penalty. And with MHD with no penalties at the moment, we do not know their warnings. But good heavens above, this race has become mega all of a sudden in this final stage of the race. Nameless out of the race. He's crashed, I think, in turn 3 and 4 now, which we've seen another car crash out earlier on today. What tyres is everyone going to go on? It's medium tyres for Samsung, medium tyres for MHD. Is anyone going to be on the soft tyres? No, they're almost going on to the medium here. Goodness gracious me. And this is going to get very interesting. Van Von doing a good job. Lights are staying out. Oh, my word. Oh, this is going to be interesting indeed. Let's drive through. Oh, no. Serious Mushroom has put the jinx on Equels, and a drive-through penalty for Equels. How has he done that? Because he's in the pits. Oh, dear. So, oh, that is such a shame indeed. Then Troy, Boxtel, Brabbit, Lucas, Percy, Legends, Equals, Knowlesy, Chazza, all in the pits and are going on to fresh tyres. Morris, I can't be bothered anymore then bring back the days where I was fighting for wins and podiums. This game is rubbish. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Morris. Jamie, I feel weird when I call someone their surname when I'm talking to them. Gosh, I haven't said that. When I was at school, I think that we all used to have, we also used to call each other our surnames for some reason. Chaz has gone soft then. Interesting stuff. Exactly how I feel. I hate this game version. There says Serious Mushroom, all soft. How many cats have been thrown amongst the pigeons? I said nothing. To be honest, by the looks, I think that there is probably at least half a dozen to a dozen cats. Because Samsung Ninja, who potentially was on course to win this race, but he's now got a 3-second penalty. MHD has never won a Grand Prix in his career, and as all of a sudden, he needs to stay within 3 seconds, and the safety car figure is going to be out until at least the end of lap 30. 5 laps then for Sam Swift Ninja to build a 3-second gap. I don't think it's out of the question because Sam Swift Ninja is in absolute fine Vettel tonight, but goodness gracious me, this is going to get very interesting indeed. I've got a really itchy neck for some reason. Oh no, and Ed Krause is out of the race as well. I think that, to be honest, I think that the lack of runners left in this race, potentially they all could score points if they could survive to the end of this race. Knowlesy back in the pits now. Why am I so S-short? To be honest, I was going to say, why are you so... am I allowed to say that word? I don't know. Why are you so beautiful, Boris? Oh, it's Ed Krause's car. Well, that's helpful, isn't it? Just parking on the exit. That reminds me of the 2008 Canadian Grand Prix, actually, where, of course, Lewis Hamilton crashed into the back of Kimi Raikkonen. Of course, Nico Rosberg crashed into the back of Hamilton when there was a red light. And one of my favourite ever images of Formula One was where Kimi Raikkonen decided to tap Lewis Hamilton on the shoulder and point toward the red light. You're a beautiful man, Morris. Only 1 point this season. Ed Krause might get disqualified, it says Serious Motion. Bottled it, says Ed Krause, unfortunately out of the race. And soft tyres for Chazza and Knowlesy. I can't say much, Jamie, I'm rubbish as well. I feel I've only got 8 points so far in the event league, and those points goes down to 15. And I think I'm about 12 points away from the man who's 19th in the championship, which really upsets me indeed. But however, I do blame the Red Bull car, and I probably deserve a switch to a better car. Maybe I reckon I should lobby that McLaren. I think because Styles' performance in Spain, I reckon he should probably be in the King Sauber because that man is an absolute rich run of form at the moment now. 2007 Canadian Grand Prix. Thank you very much. Got disqualified. 2007 Canadian Grand Prix when 2 drivers got disqualified, Massa and someone else. Was it Fisichella? I remember a Renault for some reason. I do. That was also. I remember that was quite funny because I think Massa's brother was smiling at the camera, whilst Felipe Massa who had the big thumbs down because he got disqualified. Was that the last time someone got disqualified from the race? Was it? Hang on. Show penalties! Goodness me! Let me have a look. There are the penalty situation at the moment. I think it's safe to go be in the end of this lap then. So we'll have lap 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35 to go in this one. Then as Cooper's had enough of my crap, and he wants to get on with the race. Then I'm trying to remember who was the last person that got black flagged to the race. Safety car in this lap. Then I'm really interested. Yes, it was Fisichella, fantastic stuff indeed, goodness me. So, to be honest, I'm glad I kept that information because I'm always concerned that when I can't remember something in F1, there's something very unimportant that's gone into my brain to replace that. Hulkenberg 2024. Oh yeah, when he got a push start, which was rubbish. There we go. Because obviously I'm a Hulkenberg fan. Yeah, my word. Good memory, Jamie. I wish I had that memory. I don't know why, but ever since around 2018, 2019, I do struggle to remember bits of the Formula One world. Anything before that, I think I'm all right at. So I forgot to mute. We're go in Canada, and that's a difficult start there from the Candice, and the Candice then is already gonna have to think about the fence rather than attack as we go into turn 1. Cam is going up the inside. He throws it up the inside and takes second position there. And that is then MHD's first chance for Grand Prix win. Might have gone curtains already here. Box Tally's in 7th position there with Troy in 8th position. On board then is a Box Tally cuts across his former rival for the World Championship. Then Lights has got a 3-second penalty there. As now then Sam Swift Ninja, what has he got left in his tank then? As he's got Van Von who's going to be throwing caution to against the wind though, because of course Van Von has got a 12-second penalty in this one. Driver of the Day is out now then. Driver of the Day is out now, and get your votes in. I'll read out them out in just a minute then. As Lucas Percy could elevate himself up order, as well as Flippy, as well as he come down into the hairpin. My goodness me, we're going to have to, I think we might have to start to switch the interval then to the leader, because that is going to be crucial in this Grand Prix. I think Brad Pitt has lost out as Percy cuts across. Oh my word! And Lucas Percy is now in 2-9 finish. I am probably in the bad books of Percy now. Goodness me. Again, out of the final turn then, and coming across the line once again then, as we go then, and and over he got, and then Van Bonner's got the fast off the race. Second position is second in the champion. No, not second in the championship. Second in the race so far. Look at the front to free them. Then pulling away. Hand over fist at a lap 32 out of 35. But going down into turn 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Sam Swift leads 6/10 of a second there back from Van Bonn. But we got to concentrate on the battle between first and third. The gap is at 1.3 seconds. MHD is going to have all the dirty air coming to the back of that Red Bull there. And that is not what MHD wanted. Sam Swift Ninja's not won a race though since the Japanese Grand Prix earlier on this season. The yellow flag then, I don't know what the yellow flag is for, but I'm going to ignore it because I think that yellow flag is just because it's the game, you know, and all that jazz. Driver of the day is out then. Sam Swift Ninja, MHD, Flippy and Chazza bracket, and Chazza then for driver of the day out there then. So far for spoken. Now we've got DRS, and so that's going to make it a bit more difficult. Immortal up into fourth position there. MHD is through, and he takes second position. He forces his way through. MHD is out of DRS, so that could be costly there. I wonder if MHD potentially could have stayed behind him then, but it's easy for me to say whilst I'm on my poof here. As now we've got boxed out through, and up into sixth position, and down into seventh goes Lights. As the two Mercedes once again are fighting for position. Goodness gracious me, I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a very interesting debrief for the Mercedes by the end of this one. As Troy has got past Lights as well. Lights is tumbling like a fruit machine here. Percy is through and into 8th position. There he goes. Brabham is the next one then. Oh, and unfortunately for Lights, I think he's the only driver that which was unable to pit then, wasn't he? So then he's out of DRS now then on lap 33 out of 35 then. But Sam Swift Ninja, can he get out of this 3 second window? Can MHD not get a penalty with just 3 laps to go in this one? Heavens above, gentlemen, then we're going to have a grandstand finish in this incredible Grand Prix. That was ballsy then. Morris, I'm a commentator for a reason. I don't know why I'm a commentator for, especially my mind's like a sieve, isn't it then? Then again, I think it's because Knowles just feeds me Freddy's. Freddos. And of course, that just keeps me happy, doesn't it? On my own poof. As we go down to MH, that's crucial! Sam Swift Ninja is back in the box then with just 2 laps to go. And MHD has got a 3 second penalty. And that is it then. That could be it for the Grand Prix. And Sam Swift Ninja, my word then, the state safety car would have certainly have raised the pulse of Sam Swift Ninja after he's been driving superbly well all Grand Prix. And then all of a sudden the safety car bunched him up then, and MHD was on course to win his first Grand Prix of his career. And look at who could be elevated up into third position. Flippy could get on the podium here with drivers in front of him with penalties, and Immortal could be off the podium for the first time since the Japanese Grand Prix at round 2 then. This is going to be an incredible end to what's been an incredible Grand Prix. Wow, incredible stuff. But great move, said Sirius Mushing. Then, of course, I think that was MHD, I think, on Van Von then. But unfortunately, though, for Van Von, for Nick Candish and MHD, he unfortunately has got a 3 second penalty, which has all but cost him, I think, the chance to win this race. Here comes Troy going up into 6th position now. And up into 6 goes the former world champion there. And coming up to the line, and Knowlesy is on course to score some major points as well. He hasn't scored any so far this season. But at the moment then, of course, the drivers around and getting a lot of penalties. Up the inside goes Percy. Percy's got no penalties on the final lap of this race then. That's up. Percy can't get past him, but Percy also could be elevated up into 4th position as well here. So the gap then, Sam Swift Ninja is 1.3 seconds there, but now it is not as important. MHD got a penalty on the second to last up on the first corner on lap 34 out of 35 here, which has potentially cost him his first ever Grand Prix win of his career. Here comes Sam Swift Ninja then, who has been off the podium since Japan round 4, whilst Immortal has been on the podium since Bahrain round 3. Incredible. Out of the final turn now then, and Sam Swift Ninja has very much reignited this championship challenge here tonight, surely with one of his best drives of his career. I think he has been superb, has he, Sam Swift Ninja? Of course, won the opening 2 races. Since then, it's been all a bit quiet. Out of the final turn, and Sam Swift Ninja wins the Canadian Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff from Sam Swift Ninja. And what an incredible. Knowles has got a final penalty at the end there, which could cost him some more positions there. But Soundship Ninja wins his 27th Grand Prix win of his career, his third win of the season, and that is crucial to picking up points after Immortal's been extending in the World Championship relentlessly in the last couple of races or so. Let's take a full look at the classification. Soundship Ninja then 27, third win of the season, 27th of his career. Van Votten passes up. Then driver of the day, Lucas Percy. Most overtakes Lights and Flippy, driver of the cleanest driver of the day, cleanest driver, I say that. Soundship Ninja won this race at MHD, was so close to winning his first race of his career, but that 3 second penalty right at the end cost him. Flippy I'm in the third position with Percy. No penalties, making his way into fourth position after what was a difficult race set. Immortal, fifth position. That's his worst result of the season then for Immortal. Sixth position is Troy with Bravitt in box Sally. Knowlesy picking up his first points of the season in ninth and Van Von then in 10th position there. Chazza in 11th with Legends 12th and Lights down in 13th position. Retirements, Equals, Nameless, Morris, Pease, Cam, Menace had all retired for this race. And it was a very heavy attrition rate here in the Canadian Grand Prix. Driver of the day goes to Chazza. Unfortunately for Chazza, that's no points, which is such a shame. For himself. Ooh, my word, where are we next week? Actually, in ALR Gold. Then hang on a minute. Let me get my old book up. So I think the next week we're actually returning back to Europe then for the Austrian Grand Prix, which is going to be great, isn't it? Of course, a short circuit then, and it does seem quite easy, like this one on paper, but it's anything but. And then that's going to be a penalty fest as well, isn't it? So we do have action tomorrow night as well in at silver and bronze, of course, had silver at the moment, and Mayran leads the championship by 29 points from Duke in second, and Markey in third position, and a bit of a wobbly as of late for Markey, and then, of course, then in bronze, there's a 1 point gap between Dynamo Dan and Reflections there, but we'll talk more about that in just a jiffy, as MHD has joined us in the party, and MHD, goodness gracious me, you were so close to getting your first Grand Prix win, but that 3 second penalty on the second to last tour in this race, and cost you dearly.
Yeah, I was so unlucky. I was managing all my race to not getting penalties, and I think in 3 or 4 laps I got 3 warnings. But I think with high probability, one of the warnings gonna go away because I was fighting with the Red Bull. I was avoiding the contact, so I just took 1 warning. I don't know, but anyway, it was such a bad luck for me. But the fact was that the sound sweep was so fast. Actually, I think like the win is just for him. But I'm just gonna try my best to get my warning removed and get the win from him.
And well, let's go back to qualifying first. I got a bit too excited about that final finale there. Your first win of your first pole position of your career as well. That was an incredible lap there from yourself. And talk us about that lap then, because it's so difficult, isn't it, to string a lap in qualifying, especially around this place and keeping your lap validated as well. Talk us about that qualifying lap.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, that lap was just impossible. It was like 3 or 2 tenths, I think, from my PV. So I don't know like where it came from, but all of the drivers know in the last turn there is so much time. It's all about how you can risk it. And when I saw myself in quali after second lap, I just risk it and throw my car away through the turn at all. So it worked for me, but it could be so worse for me too. It was it, but for example, I don't think it was my real pace. This in this track Canada, it's based on luck. I think mostly the track times on quali.
And then going back to the race as well, as you mentioned about the 3 second penalty. And during the race, Samsung Ninja was pretty formidable. He was absolutely flying. Did you think then halfway through the race then potentially that there was a way to beat him before the safety car came out? Was you thinking about maybe going for a second stop? Or was there anything you could do before the safety car came out?
Yeah, actually, on the pure pace, Sam Swift's setup was so good, but when he had somebody behind him, he was so slow because I think he was using a high downforce setup. So my hope was to not lose DRS behind him. I was so unlucky after the traffic. I think he passed two cars. I just stuck behind them and lost 2 seconds. And that 2 second, I couldn't just reduce them at all because I told you, like in the pure track time, his setup was the best. But comparing to other cars behind him with DRS, I think this setup wasn't that good for the race. But he was lucky. He got the clean air. He got the race alone, and so he could just maximize the pace there.
And and of course the going back to the battle between yourself and Van Von for second position, as the commenter said, it was a bit of a ballsy move going into the final chicane. Then, my word, that I thought it was a bit risky as well. Then, but it was a crucial move. But how did you feel that that was worth the risk? Was worth the reward?
Actually, when I think it was so stupid to go for that move. I think like the Red Bull just turned his ERS off, so I think I thought that he's letting me go, and just getting near and near to the turn, I saw like he's continuing with me. I just go with him to the turn, got one warning, lost so many time comparing to Sam, even losing DRS after Sam Swift. So I think it was so stupid to do that, but in that heat of the moment, I couldn't decide the best move to do. But I think the best move was to just stay behind him and at least pass him after the turn.
Really good day, a really good day to hear for yourself. Even though you did finish second in the end, and potentially a penalty pending. Really good day in your first pole position of your career. Fantastic stuff, Ben. Flippy finished third today, and it was very much a penalty-driven race, but you got no penalties at all throughout that race, and in the end, then you picked up a podium.
Yeah, it's Canada. Everyone knows that staying clean penalties is crucial around Canada, and because I've raced a couple of races around Canada already, and I know how to like kind of drive in dirty air without getting penalties. And yeah, the win was definitely on the play just because of purely because of penalties today. But well, I'll take a podium, of course.
And when you say the win was on, then did you know about the situation with the penalties? Then would you keep an eye out to see who had penalties, who did it, and how much was that in your thoughts then, especially when that final safety car came in? Then did you feel that there is a potential win then, by the sounds of it?
Yeah, I should have checked the penalties because I could have pushed a bit more after the safety cars. Because yeah, my engineer wasn't free today, and I couldn't like do anything to check mid race. And yeah, I should have just checked. But yeah, if I knew, I would have definitely pushed a bit more and maybe could have gained that couple tenths or something like that, like a second and a bit. But yeah, I'll happily take the podium.
And I must say that you and I think Pease had absolutely a doozy of a battle. My goodness me, I said that could be overtaking the season between yourself and Pease. It looked like it was getting a bit robust there between yourself and Pease, and I think it was potentially Mercedes in there as well. Do you enjoy those battles, or was you more concerned about the car and potentially just keeping it clean and tidy?
I mean, I enjoy battling. I think that's what Pease wants as well. He in Miami we had some good battling as well, and I mean I enjoyed the battling, but I needed to like keep an eye on the big picture and not like crash my car or just lose too much time behind Pease. I think I overtook him once and then overtook me again, and I just stayed back for that lap and then stayed behind him and I just burned everything and then the safety car came in and yeah, but yeah, that move was yeah. I don't know how I don't know how I make that stick, but yeah, good battling with him.
Well, we were saying about MHD's ballsy move in the final corner, but my goodness me, that was an incredible move as well. And as you said, when we got third position today, I would say that this has been quite a successful season. You're probably one of the better silver champions that has come up and has really got stuck into the gold championship. Do you think that this season you're very much building up for potentially a championship challenge going into next season, especially as the second season on this game? Do you agree that you're going to be involved in the championship challenge come next season, or maybe even this season?
Next season is way too early to tell. I mean, my pace is alright on this game, and I kind of like the dirty air, and you have to play with your mind more than like last game. But yeah, this season, nah, I think Sam and Morto's gonna have a brilliant fight at the top, and my ultimate goal is just getting that P3 and potentially a trophy. But yeah, just because of my poor two races at the start of the season, it just compromised me from making it easier for myself, but we just move on from there.
Fantastic stuff. Well done, Philippi. Brilliant drive to get in third position. And it sounds of Ninja, welcome back. This is the first time that you've been on the podium since round two. And my goodness me, I think this might be the longest period since you've been off the podium. But I was always been saying about how difficult it was potentially for you to bounce back. But goodness me, you didn't even have a problem today, did you?
Well, I got the penalty, so that was a bit of a problem because I thought it was over for me because I can't believe it. There's been like no safety cars whatsoever for the last few races, and then shock horror. As soon as I'm back at the front for the first time in like 4 races, there's actually a safety car that comes out near the end of the race, which obviously with the penalty that I had, which was, I mean, it was stupid from me anyway. I just bottled the final chicane twice, which I shouldn't have done. It was just stupid from me. Got me a penalty, so it wasn't all plain sailing, but I mean, yeah, it's great to actually have first time in like 5 races where I've actually managed to have the pace in qualifying, so I don't get stiffed with dirty air being like behind 6, 7 drivers. So it was good.
I'll say it was more than very good. It was a fantastic race, but yeah, you did mention about that penalty that potentially could have cost you. I take it that you must have been quite relieved to see MHD getting that penalty on that second to last lap then.
Yeah, because well, yeah, it was a slam dunk that I wasn't going to win the race, which obviously was going to be really annoying because it was like I said, the first time in a good few races, like 5 races, where I've actually had the pace to be on the podium, let alone having a chance for the race win. So yeah, it was really annoying that I had the penalty, but I mean, I managed to get it in the end, managed to gap them, so it was all good.
And you mentioned that it was potentially qualifying of where you were at a bit of difficult qualifying, so then you were stuck beyond dirty air. But do you think that it's just down to those couple of races that you just struggle at, and now you've got past those couple of races, we come up to Austria, come up to a lot of classic tracks now for the next couple of races or so. Do you feel you're now going to be back on the podium on a more consistent basis?
Nah, because I mean Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, like especially Bahrain is like one of my best circuits, and I mean I qualified 14th that race, so I mean it just I don't know how all of a sudden I was just good round here. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is one of my good tracks, and I managed to nail the qualifying, but I don't think it's just all of a sudden like a resurgence of that I'm going to be up there because, like I said, Bahrain's one of my best circuits, and I qualified 14th on pure pace there, and I got stuck behind cars as well there. So I don't know. We'll just see. Well, I'm just at this rate. Even though people are going to say that I'm not in the title fight and etc. and stuff like that, I mean, I'm like I got 30, 40 points behind. So it's like I can't. There's no point really thinking about a championship, to be honest, this season so far. If I can manage to claw it back, then we'll see. But I'm just gonna have to take every race, like race by race now on, see if I've got the pace or not, and see if I can maybe claw back the advantage that AC's got and maybe try and get a title fight by the end of the season. But I mean, it's looking very unlikely.
And if we go race by race, the next race is Austria. Could you like look back at like his historical races and potentially where you've done really well at circuits and take that as a good vibe, or can't you do that in this season with the car handling being so different?
Um, well, this is the first time, like I said, I've been happy after a race result in like a good month, to be honest. So I mean, hopefully it does make it so I do better and more consistent in qualifying, because I mean that's just really my issue, to be honest. If like the race pace I've still got from the previous 2 years, to game cycles, sorry, it's just that if I'm qualifying down the order in the mid pack, then it kind of stiffs me because I can't really show my race pace. But we're getting to a point of the season now where it's all the circuits that I'm good at, and then obviously all the circuits I'm really good at are at the back end of the season. So if I can just build off this momentum, which I mean, this is the first time I've been a lot happier at the end of a race, so hopefully that can continue and I can get some good results. So yeah, I hope I do well for the rest of the season.
Really good stuff today. Well done, Sam Swift. And yes, you may not think it, but I think that your resurgence today is going to get you right back in the fight, and I love it. Fantastic stuff indeed. A great drive from Sam Swift Ninja. Great drive from MHD as well. Got his first pole position, but his first win was just out of the equation now in the final lap or two. And Flippy, lack of penalties, I should say, got him right up into third position as well after what was a very entertaining race. And we're going to have more of the same again tomorrow with Silver. Of course, at the moment in Silver is very much MHD's, not MHD, sorry, Mayran's race championship at the moment. 29 points there, round 7, incredible 70 with Duke in second and Markey in third position. And that is looking very interesting indeed. And of course, on Tuesday night, it is bronze as well. Dynamo Dan has got a 1 point advantage over Reflections and an 8 point advantage over Smithy Almighty. Goodness gracious me, that is a redonkulously close championship. Cannot wait for that one. I'm going to bed now, so happy Sunday, everyone, and join us for what is promises to be a fantastic race tomorrow. Goodbye.